everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. And it's not the therapy forum, thank God. It is the fans forum. Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2, a draw at Anfield. But we have finally scored goals at Anfield. It was a very good performance from Manchester United. We've got absolutely loads to discuss with Kev, who's back.
Yeah.
Mordzs and Ricky. And thank you for the snow for melting and the game being on today, because Manchester United needed that. The players needed that. Get all of your comments in down below, all your super chats. Ricky, we'll start off with you. We actually watched the game separately. You went off and watched it on your own, so you could do all your analysing and concentrating. I can imagine you're buzzing with that performance and that result as well.
Absolutely buzzing. We grew into the game, but it didn't take us a long time to grow into the game. And we really started playing some good stuff in the first half, and towards the end of the first half, we were a better side for long periods. A bit like you spoke about on the pre-show, Beth. I was mindful of us getting the ball in their half, getting the ball down and passing it around, and we had periods like that in the first half, not just the second half. We played some really good stuff, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Rode our luck early doors. Gakpo perhaps should have scored when it went just wide of the post. I don't know if he obviously pulled off a great save. I don't know if he knew a hell of a lot about it when McAllister was only about 10 yards out when he volleyed it. That was a good save. We rode our luck the first 15-20 minutes, but then got stronger. And it's a funny old game. They had two great chances in the first 15-20 minutes, just like Newcastle did on Wednesday night. But theirs went in and theirs didn't today. Could be so different.
For the majority of the game, though, can we all agree here that Manchester United, it wasn't like we were the better team by a landslide, but I think overall, if the neutral watched that game, would you say that Manchester United were the better side?
I would.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
There's an argument for it, definitely.
I would.
And we were in it for large parts. I didn't think Liverpool dominated for long periods. Yeah, they got in 2-1, but we come back into it. You have to show character, don't you?
But the thing is, like we've said, a lot of the time, individual errors have cost us, and I'm not just blaming De Ligt, but let's be honest, 10 minutes of horror from De Ligt was why we were 2-1 down. De Ligt's, that Gakpo goal was class, but he should have stayed on his feet. And then the handball, there's arguments is whether even it should be a handball, because it is accidental. His arm is up. Personally, for me, I actually do think it is a penalty. I'm going to be honest, people won't like me for that, but if I'm just being a neutral, I'd want it given against us. But you have seen him not given before, that's the issue with it. But, a penalty... which was 50-50, and then obviously an individual error. The overall team performance, we did not deserve to be 2-1 down, and the fact we didn't let the heads drop and we stuck to our game plan, we stuck to our guns and we kept pushing, and we got that equaliser. I mean, at the start of the week, I'm pretty sure if you offered us a 2-2 draw, good game at Anfield, you'd absolutely bite your hand off. You'd bite your hand off. So, as Bruno Fernandes said in his interview, Liverpool are currently the best team in the league, the top of the Premier League. Manchester United, the table doesn't lie. We went into this game in 14th place. The fact that we can go toe-to-toe with Liverpool, because it's different to that 0-0 that we got last year. The 0-0 we got last year, hard-fought performance, but we camped on the edge of our own box, didn't have a sniff, and they were just constantly shooting and forcing shots. Okay, it's still a good result for the time that we're in, but today we actually went there, put in a performance. We had more corners with them. We had 50% possession. We put them to the test. It was a very, very even game. If not, we were the better team. So if we can do that now in the position we're in, I think we have to be doing it week in, week out. And it's a consistency thing, and it's giving Amorim that time as well.
Sorry, I was going to say, one thing that I liked about the result today was it wasn't just a case of, we were good in the transition, or we were good in the fast break. No, there were times where we were actually holding the ball well, and we were actually passing it around. Me, Ugarte, Bruno, they were keeping the ball. We were playing football, and I think that's one thing that Amorim has made clear. I want my team to play football. Even if we're coming against Liverpool, or we're coming against City or an Arsenal, I want my team to keep possession and try and play football. That's why it was 50-50 possession. If this was last season, we would have had 25% possession. We might as well got a draw, but we wouldn't have had the ball at all. We probably just would have played in the counter-attack. But today, you can see that Amorim actually told the players, no, today I actually want you to try, actually play football. Don't just give in because it's Liverpool. No, we've been in the training ground all week, training for the rest of the season. We're not just training for this Liverpool game. No, we're training to play football for the next game and the game after that and the game after that. Learn what I'm trying to teach you, and actually go out there and try and relay or portray what I'm showing you in the training ground. So I think that's one of the positives that I took from Amorim's game today.
I think there was a lot of attention to detail from Amorim today, especially targeting Trent. Thought it was a very, very brave move, but it worked.
Well, as we were just filming a little Instagram story to go out, I asked the question, who was worse today, Robertson or Trent? The way that we got down their wings, like you said, was a great tactic from Amorim. And what we've got to make clear as well, and I can see everyone joining us for Mark's final score, so get your comments in, stay tuned, we've got such a good show coming up. Brilliant result for Manchester United. I mean, Mords predicted a 3-2.
I was close.
I thought we deserved it, but
so close.
I'm still very, very happy because looking at the league, looking where we're at, the performance is the main thing today, and I can't be anything but happy with that performance. We can't be anything but happy with that performance, and a big factor could be this is the first time that Amorim has had a full week. He's had 2 training sessions in 1 week. That can't be a coincidence, can it, really?
Is that a lot?
Considering, I
feel
think
like
he said a couple
days.
of weeks ago he's only had 4 training
It's
sessions.
kind of been
with the full
broken
team.
up, hasn't it? Because he's been trying to trial this in games, which it's like the question, how can you put in a performance against Manchester City and Liverpool, and against the rest? It's how do them standards drop off?
Well, Bruno Fernandes was speaking in his interview, and I wrote down a couple of notes from it. He said that he's upset because if we can do this here against top of the league at Anfield, why can't we do it every week? I won't be worried going into the game against Arsenal because we want to be in the final of the FA Cup again. We want to win it. It's another big team. But I will be worried going into the game at Southampton at home because, and I think as your captain coming out and saying that, it's kind of calling out the whole squad to keep that mentality every single week. You can't just do it once. You can't just do it in the Manchester derby and then go and lose your next few games. You can't just turn up at Anfield and then go and lose your next few games. You've got to do it every week. And he also said, finally, I myself play a proper performance overall. So criticising himself as well, and we'll get into them comments. But Kev, we have got Arsenal away in the FA Cup next. I'm going to talk about this game, obviously, but is Bruno right there in terms of keeping that consistency within the team? Because the players have proved that they can put in performances now.
And that's the thing. Even against Manchester City, I looked at it and thought we played well. You could argue maybe Manchester City at that time, not a great team. It probably told you more of where they were, but we've just done it against a team that are like running away with the Premier League today, and somehow we made it look like we're the team that are top of the league, and that's I can't get my head around. But you need consistency. I think Roy Keane said it leading in. You need passion. You need fight. And so many games leading up to this, we've had 8 or 9 players who have not performed in a match, and today every single one of them stood up, and that's all you can ask for. We've been starved of a bit of passion, a bit of fight on the pitch, and when we get it, we're like, oh my God, these players are capable of doing it. They've gone out today, they've done it. On another day, if Harry Maguire keeps that shot down, we could have actually gone away, with Mordzs' prediction of winning 3-2. But again, 2-2. I woke up this morning, I'm not going to lie, I kind of looked and I thought, I hope this game gets called off. And I've never felt like that about United on a match day. I just thought, please, I'd rather play them towards the end of the season. Let's try and get a little bit of a run of form. But 2-2, I'll take it every day of the week. I predicted we get beat 3-0, so I'll have to do that from every week now. I'm just back against them.
Ricky?
Yep.
I know that when you first saw the team, you weren't 100% sold on the midfield.
Yep.
And you would have had a few different players in your starting 11. But did that game convince you otherwise?
I won't say it convinced me otherwise, but it certainly went better than I expected. Absolutely over the moon with how it went. Absolutely over the moon.
And
what would you have changed? Sorry, I missed the
Okay,
countdown to kick off. What would you have changed?
Not good enough, Kev.
Yeah, sorry.
I'd have had more
Letting the team
midfield
down.
players in the team. I'd have had, and what we'll never know, by the way, is if it would have gone even better.
It
But
would
we
not.
don't
Here we go.
know, do we? How do we know?
Wouldn't
We'll
all
never know. We'll
Because
never
I
know.
watched Casemiro and Eriksen playing midfield at Old Trafford last week on Monday, and it
And they
didn't
played
go well
perfectly.
then.
They played perfectly well when there was enough of them in there.
God,
When
come on.
Mainu came on and there was enough of them in
You
there,
cannot compare
we
that
took
Casemiro
over
and
that
Eriksen
game.
performance to the Mainu and Ugarte one today.
Yeah, but Mainu and Ugarte would have played as well.
But I'm saying
But then Bruno wouldn't have
that,
played, and Bruno was probably our best player.
Bruno played very well. But I just think we would be better with more midfield players in a game like that, and I will stick by that. Although it went absolutely superbly, and like I say, it's a funny old game. If there are 2 chances go in, I know they don't go in, but you know you're all going, oh, it's fantastic. You know, we're a bit lucky in the first instance to still be not behind. You know, just as we could have been the other night. That's football.
And we had chances
you
as
always
well.
find an eye.
No, but that's football, isn't it? That's football. So
Nice plug for that's football as well. That's football.
But it certainly worked out brilliantly in the end, and I couldn't have asked for more.
What were you particularly impressed? Was there anything you were particularly impressed with, whether that be Amorim, whether it be individual performance? Because I've not heard any comments from you yet. So really,
calmness on the ball from Ugarte and Mainu in the middle and Bruno at times. Obviously, the determination, the way they were set out with the back five. You know, it was a back five really. Diego Dalot, I thought he was absolutely superb. You know, obviously we were worried about that up against Salah, but not only did he do really well against Salah, but he was one of our main attacking threats as well, wasn't he?
Against Trent, absolutely cooked him.
Absolutely. I mean, just to put some stats out there, most shots at Anfield since 2011 from Manchester United. The most shots we've had at Anfield since 2011.
That's Ferguson.
Lisandro Martinez is the first Manchester United player to score at Anfield since Jesse Lingard in December 2018. So,
That's
by the way, what a finish from
I
Martinez.
thought it said Wayne Rooney earlier.
No, that was the last time we won. That was the last time we won.
It's the last time we scored.
So the last time we scored was in 2018. And then if you actually look at the stats overall, possession, 52% to Liverpool, 48% to Manchester United. Expected goals, 1 for United, 2.87 for Liverpool, so they did have more expected goals. But I don't feel like that in the game, but that's what the stats are. They had 19 shots to our 13. They had 6 on target. We had 4 on target. 3 big chances created for Manchester United, 4 for Liverpool. Big chances missed, 2 for United, 3 for Liverpool. And corners, 9 for Manchester United, 6 for Liverpool. So a very, very even game. Stats-wise, Liverpool come out slightly on top, but honestly, watching the game, I felt like United were slightly the better team, but it was very, very even overall. So there's definitely a platform there, and the title is Amorim needs time, consistency is key, because, you know, he's not going to turn things around super quickly. He's going to need training sessions, but I think on glimpses that you've seen, you can have the confidence that with signings, you know, with patience, with more training sessions, with an actual pre-season to work with the team, and with backing, that Amorim does know what he's doing, and he basically just needs the confidence from those above him, and we need to stick with him. And I think there is definitely something there to work with.
I think tactically, definitely, that setup today, you can see it watching on the telly, it was almost like a back five, wasn't it? And then you've got the 2 sat in front, it was almost like a 7. They were that quick to get in, but it seems to work against teams that actually are willing to have a go and come out and attack you. So maybe against like your Bournemouth, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but they're certainly not like Liverpool's level, but it does seem to fail, but that's where Amorim needs to kind of work that out very quickly.
I also think as well, the centre-backs like Martinez, Maguire and De Ligt were all coming into midfield very quickly, stepping on Liverpool and cutting down the amount of time that they had on the ball. That helped our midfield out. There was less gaps there, and we were very quick onto Liverpool, which cut out them quick transitions. They still got in a lot of the time, and like you said, Dalot did really well. I thought Mazraoui was back to his best again today. But the whole team did well, and that's the whole point. There's been such a disconnect between the players and the fans, but when they put in performances like that, and you can tell that everyone has give everything, that's when you build that connection with the fans, and you give them something to believe in. But, you know, it's not all like, you know, sunshine and rainbows. There is stuff we need to improve, and I think looking at that Manchester United side, when you're looking at where it's obvious that we need to progress. And I'm not making it negative because, you know, everyone did well, but we've got to talk about the game, we've got to talk about the future. I think it's very obvious that Manchester United need a top striker.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like I said, it's not even ready to get on to Haaland too much, but this game, what Haaland's best attributes are, not even his best, but the way how he tries to play is, he likes to sit on defenders, back his way up, try and bring the ball down, link up play, etc. You can't do that against Van Dijk and Konate. It's just impossible. They're two of the most, probably the two best defenders in the Premier League right now, and Van Dijk's probably the most experienced defender, one of the most experienced defenders in the world. You know, so Haaland trying to do that, his game just doesn't complement what, you know, this game was. He was never going to be able to do that against a player like Van Dijk or Konate. And if we were to have, you know, a different kind of striker, more aggressive striker who's going to really, you know, cause problems all over the front line, not just down the middle, because that's probably the most difficult place where you can try and penetrate Liverpool. The easiest places to penetrate Liverpool today was through the wings, and that's why Dalot and Diallo and the wider players had a lot more freedom. But then it was like every time we tried to cross it in, or they got down the line, it was like, who are you going to cross it into? Because Haaland's being marked, he's going to be taken out of the game. What's the next plan? If we had a striker who was a more, I mean, just to throw out a name, someone like a Tony or one of these stronger, bigger strikers who's going to cause a problem for Konate and Van Dijk, he's going to make them think, let me actually keep an eye on him, because if the ball comes in the box, he might get ahead on it, he might be able to do that. Then, you know, we're more likely to get a goal from that. But I think just Haaland's profile and like his physicality, it just wouldn't work in a game like this. Other games it might work, but in this game I just feel like he was just nullified.
It was frustrating because it's almost like the Ballon d'Or, forget about that. It's almost like if there was an award called Felon de Floor. You know, that is Haaland at this moment in time, because he spends so much time on the deck. And you think of past strikers that we've had that will give you a chance of winning Anfield, Cavani, Van Persie, just somebody who's clever enough to win the ball. You know, so many times I watched today frustrated going, just hold it up. You know, let us get up the pitch. He slips, he falls. I don't know whether it's the boots that he wears or whether he's too lightweight. I really can't get my head around it, because surely the manager would be saying, at Anfield, it's going to be a tough game. Try and hold the ball up.
Yeah, I mean, on that, and we'll move on to some other players as well that we want to talk about. But on that, Osimhen, if there's anything in them rumours in January, should Manchester United be all over that?
Yeah, I mean, why not? That's
what kind of a deal are they talking for him?
65 million is release clause in January. Yeah. I mean, my personal opinion is, I think we need a striker badly, a top striker, and I don't want to go in Rasmus, because it's always going to be tough going up against Van Dijk and Konate. For any striker, it's going to be tough, but we just need more of a presence in the box. It's as simple as that. Ricky, do you agree?
I would like us to have a better striker for sure, but you can't just base it on. I know you're not.
I'm not basing it on today,
but you keep saying you know you're going to struggle against these two. Of course, you're going. Better strikers than Haaland are going to struggle against them two this season. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you might get a better striker who still struggles against them two. Do you know what I'm saying? But and on the subject of Osimhen, I've really got to be honest. I've seen him a few times, but I haven't studied him. I wouldn't like to say that I'd like to risk 65 million quid on him, but I'm in a
we need something, don't we? I think we said when we signed Haaland, we needed somebody else.
65 is a lot for a player like in January. I mean,
we paid 72 million for Haaland.
I was just going to say,
that was a bad decision. Not because Haaland's bad, but 72 million for a player that hasn't played a full season in top flight football is terrible. But
I think for a striker of Osimhen's quality, he's a nuisance to defenders. He's got pace, he's got power, he's clinical.
Excuse me? All three things that you've said so far apply to Haaland as well. He is a nuisance to defenders. He has got pace. Well, what's the other thing you said?
Power.
They all apply to Haaland. Then three things.
I think
we're looking for something else, aren't we?
Wait for the next bit, and he scores goals.
I was just going to say, and he's clinical. I think, and you know, he makes his own chances, which is what I think. The thing is with Haaland for me is he needs to make more intelligent runs in the box. And when you say he's a nuisance to defenders, I don't think he is, to be honest. I don't think defenders are worried when Haaland's in the box. I don't think he gets up enough aerially, and I don't think he bullies centre-backs ever. It's always the other way round. I think he's got pace, I think he's got power, I think he's got potential, but I don't think he should be the only striker that we're relying upon. I think we need someone with a little bit more experience.
Yeah, he's got the attributes, but just not the IQ for it. Like, it's all good being fast, but where are you running to? Like, are you running in the right place? Are you going to the front post, to the back post? Are you making the right, like you said, bullying defenders?
Intelligence.
That's not me saying, by the way, like, he can never do that. Like, look when, this is the difference, right? Look when Isak came into Newcastle, Callum Wilson was there, experienced striker, very good striker. I thought Callum Wilson, when he was, you know, playing regular football in his heyday, like, I thought he was fantastic. He was the number 9. Isak comes in, you know, sometimes didn't even start games. Like, was on the bench, like, kind of had that embedding season, eventually took over from Callum Wilson. When he came into Newcastle, don't get me wrong, Isak was good, but he definitely developed. And now he's absolutely fantastic. But he had that time to bed in. Højlund's come in, number 9, you're starting every single week at Manchester United. It's tough. He needs somebody else there. It doesn't mean he'll never be able to do it, but he needs that time to develop, needs that time
There's
to
no
improve.
competition for his place, really, is there? It's almost like if he's fully fit, there you go. You know, you're starting up front. Even when we signed Xerxes, you know, there's question marks about him. Can he challenge him? I don't really see that because I don't see him as a striker. I still think it was a massive mistake that Manchester United didn't make, you know, another signing, even if it was a backup to Højlund or just somebody to challenge him for his, you know, his position at United.
Does that mean we get rid of Xerxes then? You can have 3 strikers and like 2 on the bench.
Well, yeah.
I don't see Xerxes as a striker, though.
I think at this moment in time, then that'd be the obvious one. At the end of the day, I look at it like this. Rasmus and Xerxes isn't good enough at this moment in time to be our striker options. If one of them needs to go, then Amorim should make that decision because we need to bring somebody better in. And who do I think has more potential at this moment in time to play in the Amorim system? Personally, for me, Rasmus. So I'd keep him. And I think you can actually get the money back for Xerxes if you were going to do it. I don't like to write a player off 6 months in, but if that's what you have to do to bring in a top quality striker, that's what we've got to do. And
the manager has to be ruthless. These aren't his players, so he'll be a better judge of what he's seen on the training ground, whether they're going to fit into the system or not. So really, you can just now go, right, see you later. You know, if it's a Gyökeres that comes in at 60, 65 million, you know, what a bargain in comparison to the 70 odd we've spent on Højlund.
Exactly. Well, get your comments in. What do you guys think? I want to ask Ricky, Lisandro Martinez, fantastic striker's finish.
What a goal.
Fantastic goal. We were having this conversation last week and you said he's played in finals against City, in the final against City, and we've won that game. He's played in the derby and we won that game. You said he can play a good game. For example, today, you know, played in this draw against Liverpool. But obviously, he has had a lot of criticism in the past for this season's performances, and you've criticised him as well for maybe not being as good as what people made out. What are your thoughts on him after today's performance?
I thought he played well again today. I think he's played, like we just spoke, you've just said that he's played well in some big games, but I think that applies to the team as well and quite a lot of the players. It applies to Bruno. You know, Bruno's decent performances have been today in them 2 derby games. And most of the time, I think he's pretty awful, giving the ball away left, right, and centre. Is it to do with when we play teams that we're expected to beat that we take our foot off the gas and we start trying stupid things? Do you know what I mean? Football's a fantastic game, and it's so difficult to bottle what you've got and what you need when you're playing against a team that you think are better than you. And the determination and the team spirit and everything that you've got about we're going to get something out of this, which has happened in 2 derby matches recently, and it's happened today. Then you come up against Bournemouth or Ipswich or whatever like that, and you can't produce the same level of effort, if you like. It's not really effort, it's that extra bit that you can't put your finger in, that bit of adrenaline that really gets you up for that game. And I think what makes a difference between the good teams and the great teams is the great teams have just got that quality. I bet you thought I was going to say they can do it. I'm not going to say that. It's not that they can do it. It's that they don't need to do it. Yeah. You know, they've just got the quality, like Liverpool in most games. They've got the quality to knock the ball around. They don't have to be at 110% to win most games. Do you understand what I mean? Mm. We need to be at that level when we're playing the other teams as well.
This kind of goes back to the conversation we had on the build-up show about players that have left United that have gone on to do well. And the reason why they've gone on to do well is because they're good players, they just weren't good for us. Isn't that similar to like a Martinez? Because we've seen Martinez put in good performances, so we know he has the ability to do it. Same with someone like Bruno, he's got the ability to put in a good performance, but it's just consistently he's not been doing it. So wouldn't you say if the environment changed at United and the mentality changed around the whole club, a player like Martinez could actually flourish in this team, because those good performances are going to be week in, week out, instead of it being once every now and then?
It can definitely improve. It can definitely improve, but it's an intangible thing that you know, you're not every week up against a team who you think are better than you. Then you can't, like I say,
that's a mentality thing.
You can't just pretend. You know, oh, these are better than us. Let's try harder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Roy Keane said it after the game, didn't he? He said there's no point getting a draw, hard-fought draw like that, Anfield, and then taking your foot off the gas against other so lesser teams that we are in a relegation battle with. Let's make no bones about it.
Our next league game is Southampton, isn't it? Yeah. And it could happen for us, and I don't mean like all that determination and effort. It could happen for us that we play them off the park. But we are not normally, I know we put 4 past Everton, we're not normally the sort of team that can play teams off the park and bang 3 or 4 goals in. And that's the difference. In games like that, we need to be the sort of team who don't need that extra bit of adrenaline. You don't need that when you are the better team and you're playing them off the park. They're the ones who are trying to lift their game to try to stop you. It's like that old saying, we're like a cup team. You know, in the cup we can raise our game, but we can't raise our game. We can't raise your game every week. Common sense tells you that, doesn't it? How can you raise your game every week?
That comes from being the best, doesn't it? You know, under Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't mean to hark back to them days, but even Roy Keane said a lot of them games were won in the tunnel before they even went out. Because the opposition team were looking at them, you know, whoever it be, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Roy Keane, Jaap Stam, and looking and probably thinking, we've not got a chance of winning this game today. We don't have that fear factor.
I remember us, I mean, funnily enough, we've drawn with Ipswich 1-1 recently. I remember us beating Ipswich 9-0 in a league in those days.
It should have been 10 that, I think.
That's not to do with adrenaline and effort. It's to do with just having good players who can knock the ball around and play them off the park.
And that was at a time where we had a team where we rotated and everyone wanted to be in the team. So when you got your opportunity, he was really good at rotating the team. You get a result like that against Ipswich where you give them an absolute battering because everyone wanted to be part of it, you know, and everyone that was given their opportunity went out and just took it.
Well, we're a long way off, obviously, them levels, but this result and performance is a foundation for Amorim to build off. Got some super chats in. Lachlan says, great game. Did you guys notice that Bruno's corners made it past the first man every time? Love watching you guys. Ricky's the go. I did notice that. Did you notice it? Yeah.
There's a lot of decent corners today.
Suleiman, thank you for your super chat. Raul says Trent's in the pocket. Did anyone see Roy Keane's comment about Trent?
Yeah.
He said there's rumours about him going to Real Madrid. He should be going to Tranmere Rovers.
I think he's at this rate. Even Tranmere Rovers won't want him.
Yeah, something like that. Martin says, Ricky, you're a legend, as is King Kev, but admit Bruno was one of our best players today.
He was one of our best
Go on,
players
Ricky.
Yeah! Andrea says, go on.
Sorry, go on, carry on. I'll bring it
I thought you had to go in.
I will bring a butt in. Go on.
Andreas Mattison says that this is the blueprint for all matches going forward to win consecutive matches. The right level of mentality. Liverpool were scared. I won't go as far as they were scared, but we did have the right mentality and level today. Connor Cox says we were so close to winning. Cheers from America. Thank you for that. Rowan said everyone who said Amorim out, where are you now? Love you guys. I've been wanting to get a membership. We've been watching since Van Gaal, United. Thank you so much, Rohan. Appreciate that. Vinny said, De Ligt cost us today. Very difficult to pick between Rasmus and Xerxes at the moment. Rasmus only has pace over him. Martinez showed him how to finish. Lake on the Moon, thank you for your super chat. And Mohammed says, please, Ricky, see the light. Bruno man of the match. And Martinez plays well against the big sides. Full-time Neville says, Kev, is that hoodie official? Kev Army swag, and where can I order one?
It's not, no. It's just, it was pure chance of seeing it and I thought, I've got to buy this. Yeah. Link in the description, get in there.
Raul says, I think that Amorim's tactical prowess will work out eventually. Robinsky says, how can you think of Højlund as a proper striker? Ralston says, thank you, this panel is on fire, thank you very much. Weekend Getaway says, Beth, you said the same about Onana. I can't remember, I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't know. If he says Ahmad is the only third Man United player to score at Man City and Liverpool in the same Premier League season since Van Persie and Rooney. What a player. Bruno was given man of the match. Spencer Silvertower says Ricky is right, but Osimhen is a better version of Rasmus. Gyökeres is a different type of beast. Karen Mater says, hi Beth, what is Ricky's opinion on Bruno's performance today?
I thought he played very well overall. There's a few errors that I didn't like. I'll name two of them. There was one ball that came to him on the edge of our own box when we were defending, and it came to him thigh height in the first half, and he controlled it with his thigh and went to volley it away. It should have gone into their half, and it didn't go higher than this. It went straight to one of them, and the pressure stayed on, and it was really poor. There's no denying it. That's one thing. One thing that a lot of people will have loved and I hated. This is the next one. He's running back to defend in his own half when they're on a break, right in the middle of the field, probably halfway into our half, and he happens to be there at the right moment to intercept it, and the ball's right at his feet, and he's facing our goal. There's nobody between him and our goal, and I was expecting him to just roll it back to Onana, and he turned and he beat 3 men in a telephone box.
It was absolutely fantastic.
I know fans will think that. If the manager, I promise you, will pull him to one side and go, next time, please just give it a kick. You know what I mean? Imagine if you lose it. Yeah. I'm not, Beth. I'm not. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. Do not do that. Take 3 men on in the middle of your own field when you're the last man. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. No two ways about it. It's brilliant that he got away. Well, when I say got away with it, you know what I mean? But he did. He got away with it.
It's the most sublime bit of skill that you'll see from Bruno, and Ricky's trying to take it out of his game now and saying, don't do that on my watch. I don't like it.
It was
unbelievable. I tell you what, if Christian Eriksen had done that, he'd have it clipped up on Instagram.
Christian Eriksen had just given it the goalie.
Look at Ahmad.
And I'd be saying that's what to do.
Scott McTominay did that for Napoli. He'd be on Instagram saying, how did we let this player go? Tell you what, Bruno has a good performance. I'm taking it in. So, yeah, but anyway, Karen, I think you got your answer on what you thought of his performance. I mean...
sorry, one more quick one. On the subject of not getting the ball away far enough when it's easy to get it away far enough, which was the first thing I pointed out. I noticed this live. Ugarte got the ball in the right back spot and it bounced up at a lovely height, and he was only clearing his lines, and that, look, I was a Sunday League player and I could knock it into the middle of their half easily. It's bouncing, just knock it into the middle of their half, get them turning, running back, and we can all push out. Again, it didn't go higher than this. I think it went straight to Van Dijk, who passed it, and then somebody passed it again and he scored. And that, everyone, I've heard them talking about different things on the TV about positioning this, positioning that. Just do your job right in the first place. Ugarte should have sent that into the middle of their half, and it didn't go 25 yards. And I swear to God, I'd have put it in the middle of their half myself when I was a young man. It's got to be better.
Well, let's move on to our next point, Mords. Mainu and Ugarte, there was quite a few question marks whether they can work together as the double pivot. Did it convince you more that is going to be a partnership that develops from this game today?
Yes, but I still think the most important thing is that like Ricky says, isn't it, that other midfielder, because I still feel like they both got caught out a little bit. It didn't take a lot of passes to get through that midfield, and that comes from having that other midfielder, you know, and because of the way our Liverpool play, I felt like we were, you said it earlier on in the show, we were pretty much playing like a 5 at the back. It wasn't a 3-4-3. Like when we were defending, it was 5 defenders all back, you know, in a line, which meant that the midfield was just 2, you know, and Bruno, he obviously likes to press really high. Haaland's obviously up there as well. Ahmad did come back a little bit, but he was all over the pitch, I'll be honest. He was up and down a lot. So there was a lot of times where it was just Mainu and Ugarte in that middle, and it's not difficult for a good team with any good, decent midfielders to just get through that, you know, in a couple of passes. But I do think individually, I thought Mainu had a great game. I actually thought that he did lose a few passes here and there. He's not a robot, you know, he's still human. People are going to miss passes. But I think he kept the ball amazingly. He's so press resistant, it's insane. He could be about 3 or 4 players. It takes 2 touches and he's out, and he's found the right pass. Amazing. I thought he had a great game. Ugarte as well. I think we spoke about the legs earlier on in the show, and you know, because of the midfield battle's going to be so difficult, we need a player who's going to be up and down, side to side. You know, when Liverpool are switching it left and right, that's what they do a lot. They love to, like, you know, let's say say McAllister got on one side, in 2 passes the ball's on all the way on the other side like Robertson or someone like that. So I think Ugarte did very well in covering a lot of space on the pitch. So those 2 together, I still think are our best 2 midfielders. But it just depends on who that third one is to cover the spaces and make sure the midfield is a lot more compact.
I was more surprised. What did Mainu get in Mark's player ratings? A 6?
I think it was a 6.5 or something like that. I might be mistaken.
I thought he had a great game, in my opinion.
And like you mentioned, Ugarte, absolutely class. I mean, I said in the build-up to this that Ugarte could become for United what like Rodri is for Manchester City. And I said, I don't mean, like for like the player, I mean the actual job that they do for the team. And I think he showed that today. Class.
Yeah, I mean, Ugarte is been, since Amorim came in, I think overall our best player. Every single game he plays is at least a 7 out of 10. Every single game he's in contention for man of the match. He was fantastic.
In theory, he's probably the only person, because he's worked with him before and he's played in that system, he's the only player that out of that lot he probably would have agreed to sign. Or in theory, it's like his signing, even though he wasn't the manager when he come in. He's played for him, he knows exactly what to do and his job in the team. I thought he was sensational today in front of that back 4 or 5 or whatever you want to call it.
I think he bails us out a lot. I think there's times where we have been caught out on the fast break and Ugarte just been there. He's probably been the quickest player to get back because, like you said, he's used to that. That is something that obviously Amorim's drilled into him from Sporting days. He's always the first player to get back out of all the midfielders and all the attackers.
It's hard to find a player like that as well. That sacrifices himself. They're prepared to do that work that others aren't, and you need to call it out, in a good way and give him his flowers for that because he was absolutely brilliant today.
He was. You honestly run out of words because I think, obviously, the players, all of them put in a good performance today, but basically all of them for the whole 90 minutes. But for a lot of games, since Amorim's here, it's been hard to pick out players who have put in a good performance, but Ugarte is one of them names where every single week consistently he's bringing it and he just brings that energy and that's, like you said, just does the simple stuff right.
Well, he was missing against Newcastle, wasn't he? And you look at that. I'm not saying if he would have started against Newcastle we would have won or anything like that. I just think he makes a huge difference to protecting that kind of back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to call it. Just very good at what he does. It covers every blade of grass across that, the back line, and he just does work that others don't like to do, and you need to give it praise.
I do think though, I did tune into the final score for a bit that Mark was doing, so I don't know exactly what score Mainu got. I did think it was either a 6 or a 7, but I do think the comments were slightly harsh on Mainu. I thought he was again one of our better players today. Sometimes, tracking the runner, that's probably his weakest part of his game, but on the ball, the way he drives us up the pitch and how silky and smooth he is on the ball, I think it's fantastic. I thought he was great today, and I think you could see more of his. He seemed a lot more like he had a lot more energy today. He seemed a lot more on it. He seemed a lot sharper. So I don't know whether that's just more training or what it is, but he looked back to his old self, which has been missing for a few weeks, I think.
His footwork's insane, isn't it? How many times were you watching that second half where you go, oh, and he just does a little bit of 1-2-1, and he wipes 2 or 3 players out, and he just finds that little bit of space.
Yeah, and I think as well with Mainu, if you want to control a game, as in control the tempo of the game, you can't do that without Mainu, in my opinion. I don't think we can do that. There's no player, the closest player I'd say, he probably is as good, if not better, is Eriksen. I don't think there's any other player in that team that could actually control the tempo of a game like Mainu does, especially when it comes to, he's not even a DM, but when it comes to the defence linking up with the midfield, the defence linking up with the attack, Mainu is that glue. He's a player that he will take 3-4, not say touches, but he will get the ball 3 or 4 times just to keep it ticking, keep the ball moving around before, let's say, it is a Bruno or it is a whoever wants to make that pass in between or into the channels. But Mainu will be the one to keep the ball and dictate the tempo of the game and keep things ticking, keep possession. I don't think we have another player in the team right now that can do that. Like I said, Eriksen's probably the closest player who has that ability, that technical ability, but I don't think anybody else really else.
I agree. We've missed that for years. Such a vital area of the field. If you've got a player that can slow it down when you need, have a breather and then speed it up, and like you say, he's the only one at this moment in time that's capable of doing that.
I agree. I think that was a really good point by you, Mords. And then on the M's, Harry Maguire, another top performance from Harry. Should have scored though.
What a day it could have been. What a day it could have been.
Oh.
He should have scored.
Especially for Mordzs with his 3-2 prediction as well.
Yeah, true.
I honestly, like, when I first saw it, I was like, how has he skied that? But then I looked back and the ball was bobbling. I still expect a player to score, but as a defender, the ball was bobbling.
He was kind of the last person on the pitch that without Simon doing it in a horrible way,
did you see
that you wanted to be there.
In the Euros or whatever it was? He smashed it top corner, didn't he?
I think he had time to put his foot on that today, have a look, pick his corner.
He does get forward a lot there at the end of the games. I even remember the last Liverpool game in the FA Cup, he was playing striker pretty much for the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
send the big man up.
he does get up there a lot.
I also wanted to hear that with Xerxes was offside in the build-up to it, and I thought if they rule it out, or you look at it and think it would have been ruled out. And then when I heard he was onside, it's just devastated me even more. But I'm happy with a point anyway, a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, and that was tough. Sometimes in football things don't go your way, but for me it's like if we just would have. It's the butterfly effect in football, and like you say, you never know what's going to happen. But that Dalot cross to Ahmad, where he does the header and it goes back, if that's just with speed along the floor, I feel like that's a goal. If that Xerxes pass is just on the floor to Maguire, I feel like it's an automatic goal. But Liverpool probably made mistakes as well, so nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect. But yeah, I thought Harry was top today. And then just on the defenders as well, was that Dalot's best performance under Amorim?
Oh yeah, I think he's one that's not actually sort of performed in this Amorim team, which was weird because under Erik ten Hag I said he was the most improved player under him. Yet when he got into this system, and again you can say that they're trying to learn a new system. He's obviously being asked to do things that he's not, I wouldn't say comfortable with, but it's just that he's not done before. So you can look at it and think, you've got to give him a bit of time in this system, but 100% that was his best performance. Attacking and defending.
He must have had a decent game in the derby, surely, when we beat City. I can't remember. But he must have.
But the job he had to do today of defending against Salah and attacking Trent, and he just destroyed Trent today, like I say. Liverpool will probably be saying...
Took him on time and time again, didn't it?
It was unreal.
Every time.
And it must have been a tactic, like I say, whether that's an attention to detail that they said that Trent is not comfortable being attacked. Dalot looked like Roadrunner. Every time he knocked the ball around him, it was like, meep, meep, and he was just, wow, and I was like, because Trent's not slow, is he? And but maybe give credit for Dalot being fast, I don't know.
I think it's another example of what time on the training ground does, because Dalot in recent weeks, he's been driving me insane because he'll get into good positions, but he won't take them on, he won't get the cross in. He looked like sometimes he was scared to go forward because he was scared of, getting beat going backwards. And I think sometimes when you're watching the game, you can forget about, the physicality and the stamina that you need to play that position. And Dalot has been very, very, very poor in recent weeks. But the guy is playing out of position, and credit's where it's due. He defended Mo Salah incredibly well. That's one of the quietest I've seen Salah in a long time. Because this year he's just tearing teams apart.
Still got a goal.
And, he's still got a goal, but it's a penalty. Do you know what I mean? And he was ripping Trent time and time again, and actually, having the confidence to get forward, and then he's back at hit, like you said, up and down that line. So,
and let's not forget, early on he got a yellow card.
Yes.
Because I looked and I thought, if I'm Mo Salah now, I'm thinking I'm attacking him at every angle of this game now, just to get something out of him. It was the one where he held him back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's like dancing with him or whatever, and I was like, what's it? But he was done, he'd spun him, and Dalot kind of held him, and I thought, this is a bit early at a game at Anfield, to be getting a yellow card, especially when you know what's coming. But credit to him, never jumped into any challenges after that. And
one thing I'll say with Dalot is, I did think he had a great game today. I'm not even trying to deny that. But I still think we still need a left footer on that side. And
we 100% do.
There's definitely one incident, and I think there might have been two. I remember one to Bruno, definitely, where he knocked the ball up the line and Bruno's chasing it and it curled out for a throw-in.
That's what I was going to say.
If you're left-footed, it curls in.
It doesn't go out.
Yeah.
Even the cross...
Not his fault. Not his fault.
Even the cross to Dalot, let's be honest, because it's
to Ahmad.
To Ahmad. I won't say Diallo. But the fact that he's not left-footed, he's probably just swung at it and just crossed it for, let me just get it in the box and hopefully you score. If we had a naturally left-footed player, he would have been a way more precise cross, and it would have been a way Like it's a better, more efficient cross, but because he's not left-footed, he's just probably swung at it.
Possibly.
But there's a higher chance it would have been. If you're
definitely a better
naturally
chance.
left-footed,
I agree.
you would have put in a better cross because it's on your left foot.
It could be a better cross, but I've seen left-footed players put worse crosses in.
Yeah, but
I mean, it was a decent.
You would get more precision and power.
Precise
It's more
cross.
likely
It's
to
with
be.
the instep.
You've got more chance of it being right, correct?
But
Yeah.
There was also one time towards the end of the game where Garnacho, we'll speak about him in a second because I really want to talk about Garnacho, but he put a pass into Dalot where usually he would shoot, but he actually put the pass in. And Dalot, because he's swinging it on his left foot, it's a really weak cross, and it's like, if you just have someone there that's strong on the left foot, you are more likely 9 times out of 10 going to get a better delivery. But imagine someone tells you, right, yeah, you're going to have to play against Mo Salah on your weaker side, or you're going to have to play so many matches in a row for Manchester United on your weaker foot. Like, it's a tough job.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like, he's doing a job as a professional, and of course he's going to get criticism, but realistically, a lot of the time, it's not really his fault. We just desperately need a left wing back. But Dalot is as far as giving credit where it's due. You've got to give him credit today. And,
Yeah, 100%.
Massive. Like you say, playing out of position as well. He equally looks as good on the left as he does on the right. But where it falls down is, like you say, in them attacking areas on the left-hand side, because that foot's not as strong, then that's why today you've seen the old right foot sort of, the outside of the boot playing across like that.
Exactly. We have super chat in from Thomas saying, can't wait to see Yoro starting matches. He's been class every time I see him. That
challenge, wow.
Yeah.
At the cop end, late on, you've just come on to be... Even considering, I said to you at the time, I said, you have to be 100% that you're getting that ball. There is no, leaving a lazy leg in. You have to be 100% sure you are winning that ball.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a mix between like Varane and Wan-Bissaka.
I was going to say.
Like, the way, I've seen it a couple of times now with his tackles, his legs just like intertwine and he seems to always get on the ball, and he takes a risk with that tackle today. Do not get me wrong.
Has to.
But he has to do it, and he gets it absolute perfection.
I think that shows a lot of even maturity as well. A lot of young defenders probably wouldn't even take it because they think, I don't want to be the reason why we lost the game or we get a penalty.
Scapegoat.
And he's just coming as a sub as well, so it's not like he played 90 minutes. He's a sub, so no one's really gonna. Everyone's probably gonna be like, oh, what Yoro, we took off the lift. Why'd you come on and do that? That takes a lot of maturity, and a lot of bravery to even take that challenge. So you gotta give him credit. And I think, before the show we spoke about whether we start Yoro or I think it was Maguire or De Ligt. I think he's still going to start this game and had a great game. And I think going forward, not to say that Maguire's played bad or De Ligt played bad and they should get dropped or whatever, but I think Amorim should have a lot more confidence in bringing him on if he needs to bring him on. It's not a case of we're going to decline if Yoro comes on the pitch. He's shown that, if you do bring me on the pitch, I can actually hold for my own and put in good performances. So that's another benefit that Amorim has in the defence.
I think he's capable of it, but I think he will choose certain games for him. He's probably looked and thought Liverpool at Anfield, the atmosphere, the famous atmosphere actually that we didn't hear today, which was great. But there'll be other games where I think Yoro will start. Maybe that's clever management for him to hold him back, like you say, that you are throwing him into the lion's den. But even to come on with, what was it, about 6 minutes left? And like I say, the challenge was it was perfection, and it had to be.
It did. We've got Raul saying, anyone should be happy to play for Man United. Alex says, not to ruffle some feathers, but who's the last striker in front of Bruno that was clinical?
Last striker to play in front of him, I think he means, doesn't he?
Well, like Ibrahimovic, isn't it?
Ronaldo,
yeah.
Goal-wise, yeah, you'd have to say, wouldn't you?
Vita says, can we talk about Ugarte, please? We have spoken about Ugarte.
We did.
Fantastic performance. Eon says, that tackle by Yoro was my magic moment. That's a good one. He's got a good nomination in. Lanny says, form goes out the window in these matches. Terrible Liverpool sides turned up against great United sides of old. Predictable performance, in my opinion. LMP says, I'd like to see Dalot actually trying to take players on and locking it past Trent on his side. It was a nice change. Hopefully it continues. I think you mean knocking it past Trent there. Lonnie says the Euro tackle was class. What do you think of him? It's like we knew you were coming. Sai says, we'll get smashed by Southampton in the next league game though.
That's terrible.
Henry T says, it's a disgrace that you lot have already given up on Xerxes. I mean, it's not a disgrace, it's football. Like, at the end of the day, we need a top-level striker. If one of our strikers has to go, you've got to pick one of them. So if
That's all it was, and we're saying if Amorim looks at it and he can get the money back for him, would he sell him? You know, it's nothing to do with what happened midweek, fans booing him. I don't agree with that one bit. You know, he come on today, the United fans sung his name, which was great to see, and that. I thought he did well when he come on, but yeah, if you're asking a question and you've got to answer it, then which one, you know, would you sell? That was the question. It's not us sat here saying get Xerxes out of the club or anything.
Yeah, Matthew Gartel says Amorim is annoyed that we can produce that now after weeks of shite performances. I need to actually go and look at his quotes. Zeiss done that one. Raul says Ugarte is a dog. B2 in there with the weirdest chat I've seen, but I'll try and take it as a compliment. Vinny Red One says Mark gave Anana the same rating as De Ligt. Shocking.
Wow.
I have the player ratings here actually. So
Any that stand out?
Anana got a 5.9, De Ligt got a 5.8. I thought De Ligt was worse than Anana today.
Is that like the average though, from everyone?
That's
like
the
marks?
average, yeah.
The average. Okay.
Maguire got 6.6, Martinez got 7, Mazraoui with a 7, Ugarte 7.7, Mainu 6.9, Dalot 6.5. I thought that was a bit harsh. I thought Dalot was at least a 7 today. Ahmad 7, Bruno 7.5, Højlund 5.5. Interesting. I mean, I personally would have.
Wait, Onana was not. He saved us in the first half of that save that he had.
McAllister.
Easily won.
That was a big save. That.
I personally would have give Onana a higher rating than De Ligt.
And the goal was insane as well.
The Gakpo one, yeah.
How's he going to?
There's not much you can do about that, is there?
And the other one was a penalty.
Shaunak says, in my opinion, Slot plays similar to Erik ten Hag. He just has midfield players with legs because of which he does not get exposed. United played like a team today. Abdul says, Varane Bissaka. Connor Cox says, a cheaper striker option would be Pepe from PSV. Thank you, everybody, for your chats. Please make sure you hit a like on the video. Right, guys. I mean, we've not even spoken about Ahmad, but class again.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Class again.
Good goal.
Absolutely brilliant.
Ricky loves him, doesn't he?
I love him.
Enough said.
We're going to do our man of the match and magic moment. So, I think there's going to be a lot of options for man of the match today. You get yours in the chat. Ricky, who is your man of the match?
Diogo Dalot.
Diogo Dalot, okay. Who was your man of the match?
This is going to be refreshing, this, because usually we're like, they're all rubbish.
Have you got one?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you go.
I think the popular one will be Bruno, but I'm going to go Ugarte just for what he did.
Not a bad shout.
I
All
think
good shouts.
I think there'll be different shouts here. That's what makes it, and it shows how well we played today. Because, like I said, there's been times when we've sat here and just said they're all rubbish. You know, I don't care, but this, and I don't think there'll be many kind of wrong answers as well. It's not where you go, whoa, Mordzs, what are you on about? That's proper controversial because you look at the player ratings, everybody played well, didn't they? So I think it does come down to a matter of opinion, really.
Oh, there's some great quotes from Amorim coming in. Sorry.
Go on, Mordzs.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm going to say Maney.
So we've got
You don't need to give yours. We know who yours is.
We've got Ugarte,
Dalot. Mainu and Dalot.
and
obviously Bruno.
But Bruno's is probably the best shot ever.
Drum roll.
But what I'm going to do, which is why I did it early, because I wanted to just talk about a couple more things before we wrap up, is I wanted to put it to a poll so the viewers can decide from our options. So we've got Bruno, Ugarte, Mainu and Dalot. They're the options for you guys to vote in the poll. Vote who you think was man of the match, please, and we will reveal it at the end of the show. We're nearly wrapped up, but I do want to bring in a couple more points, and I think we can all agree the magic moment was the Euro tackle, maybe?
Mine was the fans singing Xerxes' name when he came on.
Oh, that was that's
wow.
nice.
Good
Loved
touch,
it,
Ricky.
Yeah, that was nice.
I mean,
Mine's
Martinez's goal was crazy.
Oh, Martinez's goal.
I was going to say, I even
was
called
very
it before Gary Neville. The minute I'd seen that go in and it hit the roof of the net, I said, this is Ryan Giggs 99 against Villa. It's the exact same finish when he smashed it past David Seaman. And I was... at Villa Park against Arsenal in 99. It's an unbelievable finish. And again, the ball from Bruno was brilliant. and then I'm thinking, what's Martinez hanging around up here for? And he cleverly waits, and then he's obviously played in, and you think, is this going back across goal? Or it's one of them that if he smashes it and it goes over, you think, why didn't he cross it? It's the more I watch it, the more I'm just amazed by the finish, the technique of it, and he's not beating just anyone, Becker's obviously a top class keeper, but I go with that, personally.
Mine might be when Bruno takes on 6 men and comes out at the end of it with the ball. That clever touch.
It's not Ricky's favourite part.
It would probably be the Euro tackle. I thought it was top draw.
Let's hear some of his comments, darling.
Yeah,
dying to hear them.
Dying to hear them. So, he said...
I've told Bruno not to dribble 3 men in a telephone box. Go on.
How did you know?
Go on.
He said it should be a big issue for our players that even one person thinks that they have the ability but not the character. We have to fight, and this is what we have to change. Calling the character of his players out a little bit there. Obviously frustration from the fact that he's seen a good performance after many poor ones. Yeah. He says, I think it is really clear when we are focused, when we fight for every ball, when we suffer, and when we are tired when the game is finished, we are a good team. Again, calling out the effort and the mentality of his players. If we don't do that all the time, then we are going to lose games, and that is clear to everybody. We controlled well the tempo of the game. Every time Liverpool had a chance, we controlled it and had the ball. That makes a difference. You could see in the game, it was not like we are all suffering all the time because we controlled the ball a lot, sometimes winning fouls, controlling transitions. It was a good game. He got asked about the left-hand side of Manchester United. He said, they have players with qualities, but you have to do it how you should do it every game. Dalot is really fast, Bruno is smart, so we can use them together. He also said, on Harry Maguire, for me, missing chances or playing badly with the ball is not a big issue. For me, the big issue is that Harry gave everything on the pitch, and that is the most important thing. He got asked on maintaining this level of performance. He said, that is clear. Everybody thinks the same thing. We have to start someday to be consistent, not in the way that we play, but in how we face competition. So let's start that today. Ruben Amorim there with basically... The message to ride home with is this is the level you should be putting in every single game, and it's clear that you haven't been doing that, and you're only going to get praise from me if you do that week in, week out. That's the standard now. Which is what you want to what you want to hear from the manager, because that's what all the fans think as well.
Yeah, Ten Hag would have said this was a great performance, and that was it.
Well, there's no point in this lot now taking off and all on social media and saying, what a result Anfield and that. If you really want to rein it in and you say, well, we didn't win the game, we drew. Yes, nobody gave us much of a chance of going in, but, don't get too overexcited by it, because we know after the result at the Etihad, we how many poor performances we put in since then? It's been absolutely shocking. So I still hold back slightly, because this team, I'm that used to it, and we all are, that they will let you down again. But, you live for the moment. It's a great result, and hopefully the players start taking it on board now, and that is the standard. That should be the bare minimum each game. As Ricky said earlier, I understand there's other games that you go into where the atmosphere isn't as ferocious or whatever, and the challenges aren't flying in, but you still have to set up, be professional, and go out there and win games of football. Well, apparently there's more quotes that we haven't tweeted out yet, and in his post-match interview with Sky, I've not seen it, but apparently he was quite frustrated with the players. And just one of the quotes that I've seen is, I am more mad because of the other games. We really need to fight to get out of this bad situation. Ruben Amorim says that today's result has made him really mad with Manchester United's previous results across the Premier League.
Fair enough.
That's what you want to hear, don't you? You want a manager. Again, maybe, like you said, Eric Ten Hag would have come out, last year when we got that 0-0 draw or whatever it was at Anfield. We've been smashed 7-0 the year before, where he's coming out and talking up a result like this. And from the players' point of view, they probably think we've done brilliant here, great job. He's clearly still not happy with a 2-2 draw at Anfield, even though we've just lost, 3 on the spin there against so-called lesser teams. Exactly, you've won at Anfield, but at the end of the day, you are still
He's grounding him,
in the
innit?
Premier League.
Yeah.
And that's because of your bad performances. You've got to turn up week in, week out.
I think he's just frustrated with the fact that he knows now how good they can actually play. 'Cause let's be honest, he's not actually had a good run of games where we've been winning consistently since he's been manager. I think the best run of games we had was probably Rude this season. That's probably the best run of games we've had. But since he's come in, the players haven't performed to that level, so he's probably frustrated thinking, well, why are you doing this now? Like, come on, like I've been here for how many games is it now? Like 10 games, something, 11 games? We've been playing against easier competition and you haven't shown this at all. You've done this to yourselves, because at the end of the day, as a manager, it is super difficult when your team, the players, are not playing more, because everyone looks at you and says, you're the problem. But when you're looking at your team and you're saying, and you know how good your team are, but they're not performing, it can be, I can understand why you'd be frustrated, because I'm thinking, like, I know how good you are, you're just not showing it, you're not doing it on the pitch. So I guess now, from today, they should kick on. They should kick on. That, I mean, the key word is should. Whether they do or not, that's
well, it might be a good thing that we've got another tough game next, innit, in the cup.
Yeah.
Might be a good
we
thing.
perform well in these, but again, you can't have it where it's a tap and you just turn it on one week and then think, no, you know, shut it off now. I'm really happy with the comments that he said there, because again, it shows his commitment, it shows his ambition. He's striving and he wants more. Again, we drew this game, but yes, it was a game that we probably went in, and even probably a lot of United fans would have admitted deep down that they didn't expect us to win. Or to get a point from,
I said win before, but it was a draw, but it was still, like, the performance was a win in our eyes. So, yes, I mean, last but not least, I did want to just touch on this, because I noticed, you know, when you talk about training and Ruben Amorim have time to coach the players and hopefully we'll get more of that. Garnacho, when he came on, I'd love to know your thoughts, Ricky, because I wrote this down after the game. I said, I was looking at Garnacho's cameo. It wasn't perfect, but for me it was improved. No outlandish shots when he was in positions, like trying to force it. He passed to Dallo a lot on the overlap. He was fighting for every ball. He was tracking back well defensively. I thought he made some good passes, held his position well. Got shoved off the ball a couple of times. We know his strength, but I definitely think you could see a difference in his game. I
agree. When he actually was bringing him on, I thought that was curtains for us. I really did. I thought that's that now. 2-1 down. And to be dead honest, I was watching him closely. The first time he got it, he was in the inside left channel, about 10 yards inside his own half. He took somebody on and lost it. They went straight up. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they went on the break. I think it was when they got that free kick, the one that Salah curled over the bar. So that came from Garnacho losing the ball as soon as he got it. But after that, there's the marked improvement. Obviously he got the assist with the cross, didn't he? And fed up, in the past of seeing him cutting in to shoot, perhaps in situations like that. And you're not going to get a goal out of it every time, but I'm dead chuffed for him that he did cross it and we did get a goal out of it.
He's young enough in it to take this information on board now. If Amorim does pull him to one side, and the truth bomb should be, do you want a career at Manchester United? Do you want to be at Old Trafford? What more motivation do you need? But from the manager, he's going to say, well, I need you to start doing it. Same with Bruno Fernandes as well. He seems to be a lot more disciplined at this moment in time. He's making the right decisions. It's no coincidence that we've got a new manager in town, and this manager is obviously demanding different things from him. And one of them will be, we've sat here before about Bruno, about Garnacho, two players that must be up there for giving the ball away at Manchester United. It puts you on the back foot. If you keep the ball, it's all about that. And you have noticed an improvement in, 9 weeks that Amorim's been here? Yeah, it's been a rocky road, but we have had games where, like today, they are capable of turning it on, and that's the annoying thing.
Last but not least, also, if we can end the poll on man of the match, I'll read that out. But last but not least, it's Arsenal next in the cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Arsenal away. They obviously had a slight bump in the road against Brighton. I mean, we took points off Liverpool. We did our job. They couldn't do theirs and get it over the line against Brighton. FA Cup, a competition that I assume Manchester United and Amorim will really want to get far in, considering our shortcomings elsewhere. Obviously, winning that, you do get into the Europa League. If we don't manage to win the Europa League and get into the Champions League, it seems like our most likely way to get into European football, them two competitions, rather than the league at this moment in time. But it's going to be tough. How are we all feeling? Do you think, basically, quickly to end the show, do you think United will get a result at Arsenal?
Is it home?
No, it's
at
away.
the Emirates.
Okay.
Oh, what a tough question. I get my fingers burnt every time. I don't want to be seen as this person again that gets all like giddy and that, you know, just because we've drawn 2-2 at Anfield.
I think we'll get a draw again at a goal pens.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not going to guess who's going to win a penalty shootout. Anybody can win a penalty shootout.
Do you know what? We're going through.
I'd take it being in a penalty shootout.
We're going through.
That.
We're marching on to the next round, the FA Cup.
Yes,
Absolutely shameless. I'm sorry.
This is why we needed you back.
Yeah, the positivity.
I don't know why, because like we beat City in the derby and then we went on like the most horrible run of results. And you know, you could just see the same happening again if history repeats itself. But I do have a feeling we might actually win that game.
I think we're going to win. I think, not even to sound shameless, but...
I keep getting drawn back in every time.
not even to sound shameless, but I feel like in terms of like mentality, even though we don't have the best mentality in terms of like in general, when it comes to individual games, United are the one team that I could say, you know what, they can pull it out any day. Like any day. And there's been so many examples of when we have been at our lowest, our absolute lowest, and somehow we just pulled out the result on the day that we needed it. And I feel like next week is going to be another example of that.
The man of the match results are in. I mean, Greg put Euro instead of Dallo as one of the options. So
we know that Euro's Dallo.
Unfortunately, Ricky, Euro only got 1%. But Ricky's vote was Dallo. But Mainu got 3%, Mordzs. Very low. Bruno got 32%. So Ugarte with the 62%. Which I think is very fair. Ugarte had a cracking performance, but everyone did, to be honest with you. There's other players you could have put in there. Maguire, example, someone's mentioned. We've got the last super chats. Risick says, good evening from South Africa. Season's greetings to all. Definitely one of the best 2 games. Raul says, we will win. Red Army says, to not mention Maguire as man of the match shows incompetence. Like we said, loads of people could have been in that. Yeah. Tyrone B says, just tuned in, but have you seen Ruben's post-match with Sky? Sounds like he went in on the players. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your super chats. Thanks for your interaction. Make sure you hit a like on the video. And yeah, we've gone over time, but that's what happens when you have a good performance. And honestly, I thought there was absolutely no chance, but we take a draw and the FA Cup is next. Hopefully, we can get... I actually do think we can go and win.
Why not?
There's no reason why not.
Yeah.
Depends what team Arteta picks out. You could look at it.
He might rest a few, you never know.
Yeah.
Anfield is a...
He's going to rest a few in the FA Cup, do you reckon?
He might do. They've got bigger fish to fry.
I was going to say, I think...
Well, he needs a trophy, Arteta, though.
He does.
I think.
He does. And look, Anfield is a more dangerous stadium than Emirates. And if we can come to Anfield and get a draw, why can't we go to Emirates and get a draw?
Go on, Mordzs, love it.
He's being shameless.
Reeled him in. Welcome aboard the positivity train. Let's have it.
Well, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Isn't it lovely when you know you can stick Match of the Day 2 on when you get home? Oh. Absolutely love it. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate all of your comments, everything like that. What a day. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and we'll see you throughout the week.